Hi guys, I hope everybody's doing well. So I have been MIA for a little bit, but honestly, and I'm sure this is the case for so many of us, transitioning into lockdown has been so difficult and I struggled so much. So I just decided, you know what, let me take some time off and just look after my well-being. And the funny thing is, at the beginning of 2020, I chose a word that I would embody throughout 2020, and for me, that word was positivity. So I was like, 2020 is gonna be all about positivity. Everything I do, I'm gonna remain positive. Fast forward to lockdown. And when I tell you what a struggle it's been for me to remain positive during this lockdown, my goodness. But obviously I know that the lockdown is essential for us to beat the virus, so I'm sticking to it, but it has not been easy. So throughout the lockdown, I've started doing certain things to just make sure that my well-being is good and that I'm keeping well. And I thought, you know what, let me share some of these things that have been working for me with others, because during this time when there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unknown, I'm sure a lot of people are struggling with the same feelings and emotions that I was and still am to a certain degree. So let me share what's been working for me in hopes that you can pick something from it and it can also work for you. So here's what I've been doing during lockdown. So the first thing that I'm doing around my well-being is making sure that I stay connected. So usually I'm not one of those people that spends a lot of time on the phone. I'm more of a face-to-face conversation type of person, but obviously we can't do that during this lockdown. So I'm having to consciously make an effort to schedule in calls with family and friends and just making sure that I remain connected to the world. I think during this lockdown, it can be so easy to just shut your door and just remain in your house and stay isolated from the rest of the world, which is obviously not good for your well-being. So it's about making that conscious effort to keep in touch with those around you, keep in touch with the people that you would have conversations with, were you able to meet them. It's just about developing a new way of connecting with people. So scheduling in Skype, scheduling in Zoom calls, WhatsApp calls, and just making sure that you're keeping in contact with people and still nurturing those relationships even though we're not able to meet physically. And I think this is not only good for your well-being, but it also gives you the opportunity to support other people and their well-being. I think during this lockdown, it can be difficult to gauge how people are coping with lockdown and isolation. So just checking in on people can be that touch point that they need to just deal with whatever issues they're faced with. We don't know what people are struggling with during this lockdown. So I think staying connected allows us and enables us to support those around us with whatever challenges they might be facing during lockdown. So yeah, staying connected. So the second thing that has been helping me with my well-being has been my gratitude journal. So I discussed this earlier on in the year that I started documenting things that I was grateful for to help change my perspective during a time when maybe a lot of things are going wrong. And I think the lockdown and the pandemic provides such an opportunity for me to utilize my gratitude journal. So during this time where there's a lot of things that I can complain about, and I have complained about, and complaining that some of my plans for 2020 have been messed up with this lockdown, and certain things that I wanted to do I have not been able to do. Reflecting on my gratitude journal and certain things that I note down on a daily basis as being grateful for helps me to put things in perspective. Now obviously this is something that works for me. Some people might be going through a lot more during this time than I am, but I think for me it has helped in that even though so much has gone wrong and so much continues to go wrong and there's so much uncertainty around this pandemic and the lockdown, I'm able to acknowledge that I have things that I should be grateful for and that I am thankful for. For example, I'm thankful for my health, and I think that's such an important thing to acknowledge during this time when a lot of people have lost their lives, but I'm in a privileged position where my health is okay. And also being thankful for the support systems that we have and the networks of family and friends that are constantly checking up on us and making sure that we're all right. So I think it's important in this moment for me to acknowledge that yes, things are not great, but there's still so much for me to be thankful for. A third thing that has been helping with my well-being has been around trying to remain active during this time. So I have been trying to do a variety of things, from exercising at home or just going out for walks and jogs, trying to keep as active as I can. Sometimes I just mess around on TikTok and do some silly dancing. As long as I'm moving or just trying to keep active, I just make sure that I'm trying to keep it interesting, creative, and fun. So the fourth thing that I have been doing around my well-being has been around learning. So I mentioned earlier on in the year that I was interested in learning more around nutrition and food that's good for you. So I've been using this opportunity to research and try out some different recipes of food that's tasty but also very nutritious and good for you. So I'm going to insert some of the food that I've made during this lockdown, and yeah, it's just been great kind of like doing a lot more research around nutritious food, but also experimenting and thinking outside the box when I'm cooking. Now, I just wanted to address something. I've seen a lot of posts on social media talking about how people better use this lockdown to come up with a business plan or think about their lives, or just come out with all this amazingness when we come out of lockdown, and if you haven't, then you have failed, then you're lazy, XYZ. I think that's such a negative narrative to be pushing out during this time. Lockdown itself is stressful enough without the added pressure of thinking that you're a failure if you don't come out of this with some sort of business plan or innovative ways of making money. Like, if you come out of this not having a business plan or anything else, but your well-being is good, then you're winning, to be honest. Because at the end of the day, this is such a stressful period of time that the key focus should be making sure that your well-being is good. Nobody should make you feel like you're a failure because you haven't used this time to come up with some sort of business plan or whatever. At the end of the day, everybody's on a different journey. People are coping or dealing with this pandemic and lockdown in different ways. So the fact that you're able to just deal with your well-being, the fact that you're able to keep well, is already an achievement. So I just want to put that out there. Like, if you come out of this lockdown with a business plan or with an idea, then that's great. Like, more for you, well done. But I don't think we should be pushing that narrative that if people haven't come out with that, then there's anything wrong with that. So the final thing that has been good for my well-being has been around having a routine. So I think being in lockdown, it can easily just merge all your days into one, so you don't know when one day starts and another one ends. So I have been trying to have a routine where I wake up around the same time, I do certain things around the same time. So trying to do some sort of activity in the morning, whether it's going for a walk or doing some sort of exercise in the house, and then obviously I'm working. Then after work, having something that I do after work to just break up my work day with my evening. And I think that has been helping me to kind of like distinguish work time and leisure time, because obviously I'm at home the whole time. It can be hard to kind of like break that up. So having some sort of routine has definitely been helping. Hopefully you find some of these tips helpful. Let me know some of the things that you guys have been doing so that maybe I can also learn. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Bye.